Today, the endurance race Steve McQueen made famous at Elsinore. Honeys and horsepower at Ohio's Wheel Jamboree. Plus, Illinois short course racing for the Points Championship. That and more today on Off-Road Action. Welcome to Off-Road Action, the show that pits man and machine against Mother Nature's toughest terrain. Now today, it's a little bit of pavement and a lot of hardcore dirt. We're headed outside Los Angeles to the Elsinore Grand Prix.
There's one event you do a year, it's Elsinore.
And it takes guts and a no-fear mentality of a Steve McQueen to race the prestigious Elsinore Grand Prix.
This is awesome. This is like great.
Track's rough, really extremely rough, and I mean it's 100 miles, close to 3 hours straight of just torture on your body.
The roost is really gnarly. The rocks here, they're like loose rocks, pebbly marble type rocks, but when they hit you, they really hurt. Yesterday, one hit me in the lip, and I thought it knocked my tooth out. I had a big fat lip. Yeah, the roost is really gnarly here. I never could have imagined how bad the roost is.
Try not to ride behind the guy in front of you. If I took one in the boot, you'd think hitting me in the boot's not that big a deal, but you know, underneath where it hit, it's sore. So yeah, we're gonna take some rocks today. They're brutal. And it just beats you to death as you go along because of course it gets rougher and rougher.
That's what you get. All in the name of fun. It's what we do for a living and we love it. It's what we do for a living and we love it. It's what we do for a living and we love it. Here's a challenge coming upon four riders. You don't always necessarily know which line they're going to go. Do I go on the inside? Am I going to have enough room? They're pushing out. What do I wind up doing? A couple laps ago, I got big charge right up here.
You know, we're doing 60 miles an hour down a section where somebody's doing 25 miles an hour. The course is 7-8 feet wide. There's one worn-in groove. There's pebbles and rocks on the outside of that groove with a hill on one side and a cliff on the other. And those guys don't just hold their line. They're going back and forth. And we're racing for money. So, you know, we're trying to squeeze it in there.
Oh! Rocks, rough, rutted. There's a whole, like, 2 miles of cliff on one side.
And if that ain't tough enough, it wasn't getting any easier when they got off the dirt and onto the blacktop.
Where else can you ride dirt bikes legally on city streets and do about 100 miles an hour?
Then off on the asphalt, 10, upshift. I'm looking down at my speedometer. I'm doing right now about 74 miles an hour.
You would think that the blacktop would be actually really sticky, but actually it's really, really slick, and you know, you got to be really straight, and you got to make sure when you come onto the blacktop you're straight, and when you go off you're straight.
Yeah, that's really cool. Not too many races anywhere, you know, in the world get to just ride right through the middle of the town.
It's sketchy because you're coming off and on pavement as fast as a motorcycle will go, and then you're coming onto the pavement and tires are dirty and stuff like that.
It's neat. There isn't too many places you can go and actually race down the streets, down by the houses, pitch it sideways on the pavement. It's a ball.
My discipline's normally motocross, so the pavement's way out of my element, but I'm learning it quick and I like it.
It's really different. It's interesting. It's a lot of fun. I love it.
It's awesome.
Just awesome.
There's not a word better than awesome, I don't think, is there?
Now what's awesome is you don't have to be an old fart to appreciate the history behind this epic event, as racers young and old were down with the nostalgia.
I've heard of this event for years and years and years, and I've always wondered what it would be like, and I've always seen the photos of it right in the middle of town, and I always thought, wow, that'd be really cool to race down through town like that. But this year I got to get out here, and I'm getting to see it, and it's awesome.
I've watched On Any Sunday a million times. I've dreamed about this race since I was a little kid, and last year I got to ride it, and hopefully this year I'll win it.
The history of this event's awesome. That's why I was so happy to win it last year and put my name on that plaque.
I didn't even know there was a trophy. I just want the money.
There was no money to win, but lots of laughs in the mini team race held before the Mushman 100.
Mini bikes!
Woo!
Now, I'm not saying mini bike racing is feminine, but
Oh, what about this guy? What about this guy? He lost a bet right here. Todd Farley, that's my mechanic. Lost a bet earlier on today.
$10 for this. It's gonna buy me dinner. I feel confident.
hey, what can you say when a guy says he's confident in a halter top? Hard times for this team as the Elsinore track gobbled up minis like cupcakes at a Weight Watchers convention.
He busted the tire.
beginners, you know.
However, a busted tire wasn't going to slow this team down, a move that would have pleased the great Bandito.
Mini bikes!
Woo! I don't feel like Steve McQueen.
We'll put you behind the handlebars of the Mushman 100 coming up. Plus, mud drags, monster trucks can only mean one thing, a four-wheel jamboree. Off-road action will be back after this. Welcome back to Off-Road Action. Now, what do the Isle of Man and Elsinore have in common? They both love racing in the streets.
Yeah, motorcycles are dangerous.
Hey, don't be a wuss, because they're all so fun, and no race kicks butt quite like the Mushman 100.
It's a killer event. I mean, you're riding on pavement, through the city streets, out in the back. There's just thousands of spectators out there checking it out, wanting to see what's going on. It's really happening.
This is a classic. This is an event that draws maybe 1,500 people to every year, and it's all about having a good time.
It's really cool. They get into it, they get fired up, they have a few beers and go crazy.
If it wasn't for the fans out there cheering us on, you go for 100 miles and you hit the 60, 70 mile period, you start getting a little tired, and then the fans kind of help push you along that last 30.
This event going again, it's pretty cool, you know, I'm glad to be a part of it.
And there wasn't a shortage of racers, but the top guys know how the long ones play out.
Whoever is on that podium deserves it. It's definitely a war of attrition. So it'll be good.
Being a 2.5 hour race, it's just you know, the toughest guy's gonna win.
Being good or tough isn't a prerequisite for getting on TV. Silly hats are good, although this one is pretty lame. Being a hot chick, well, that's good too.
In the middle of the 909 in California, of course there's going to be girls out here. They all want to see the motocrosser.
I don't think they're here to check this guy out, but the ladies like bruises, so this one's in. And if you decide to race a bike more suited to cruise across country, we'll even talk to you.
Well, I'm racing a kind of unique machine here. I got the 950 KTM Adventure. It's quite a machine. It's got a V-twin engine, 950 cc's. It's kind of a street bike that can be ridden off-road as well. Top speed's about 135 miles an hour. Fully fueled and everything with gas. I'm looking at probably 550 pounds rolling.
But his son wasn't so sure about Pop's bike strategy.
If his arms aren't the size of Popeye by the end, he'll be lucky. That thing's a big, big bike. I couldn't ride it, that's for sure. Not just even down the road. It's a handful for me, let alone going on the dirt, going at speed.
With 3 Baja 1000 wins, Dad was taking the high road.
I would imagine if we were both on equal machinery and I was riding a race bike like him, there'd be a lot more competition, but I've already got a built-in crutch here. I'm riding the big boy here, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that.
Crutch or not, Dad showed who knows best by finishing the race while his son did not. Defending Mushman 100 champion Destry Abbott also hit the showers early.
He came across the lap rider, was sitting sideways on the course, and ended up going straight into the rider. And thinks he might have dislocated his shoulder, but he'll be all right, and he just pulled off to be safe.
It was broken tires that caused a lot of bike casualties, but not for Scott Sheik, whose rubber didn't let him down as he edged his teammate Bobby Bonds for second place.
And my Michelin tires held up the whole time. You know, we had the mooses in there that can't puncture, you know, they're full foam in there, so yeah, my bike just hung in there and did its job, you know.
Doing the job was privateer Lance Snell, who won the 2.5-hour epic with a great bike setup and smart game plan.
It worked out pretty good. You know, I started out kind of mellow. Guys were going a little crazy, and you know, I let things settle in. And about halfway, I was able to get into the lead and just kind of go from there. You know, I had a little better mileage than the two-strokes out there on my YZF. That track was as brutal as you can get. You know, my hands are still tingling. You know, it was survival.
Now, if you want to see Steve McQueen himself race this event, go rent the DVD on any Sunday. There's nothing like it. Now, from mini bikes to motorcycles to, believe it or not, Rhinos, it's the latest craze in off-road racing, UTV Cross.
From motorcycle racing to the exercise boom, what blows up in Southern California becomes huge across the nation. The latest craze in Cali? It's called UTV Cross.
exciting to race.
It's a blast. It's like being a kid again. It's pretty darn fun.
When Yamaha introduced the Rhino utility vehicle, they never envisioned this.
The hunters would use them, put gun racks on them and all their stuff so they could go out and get in the rough terrain back there. It was all over. People started modifying them, and next thing you know, we're racing them.
Now they're a long way from hunting moose.
It's a cross between a quad and a trophy truck.
Competing on local motocross tracks, the drivers of the mod and stock classes have to endure 15 brutal laps.
Close as you can get to hell. You get out there and push these things to the limit, and you're gonna get hardcore.
Known around the world as the godfather of freestyle motocross, Mike Metzger gives this series his blessing.
Rhino racing's great off-road, good racing.
Over the past year, word about this series has spread quicker than a California wildfire.
We're one of the first 4 cars to race every weekend. Now we're showing up and there's 25 modified Rhinos out here racing.
Tell you what, it's booming right now. It's tremendously huge.
A lifelong racer, Todd Arthur is all about going huge.
You know, I've had a lot of off-road experience in the desert racing, and we had a Rhino that we used for a pit car. We thought, what the heck, we'd come out and try it, and I tell you, I haven't done much desert racing, but I've sure done a lot of Rhino racing.
Dominating the mod class points, Todd wasn't monkeying around when he built the Flying Banana.
Basically started out as a Rhino. You can buy one for about $10,000. And then from there, depending how far you want to go with it, you can dump about another $20,000, $25,000 into it. We're about $35,000 into this.
Racing on tracks littered with double and triple jumps, the suspension was priority 1.
Obviously, we've extended the suspension and added some coilover shocks, some Fox shocks, and that really helps us out over the jumps. We're able to achieve about 18 inches of rear wheel travel and about 17 inches of front wheel travel. And we're still using the existing 4-wheel drive out of the thing.
He didn't settle for the 30 horses that comes with a Rhino.
We have a modified Rhino 660 motor in it, which is a 686 right now, with some little head porting and carburetor modifications, a few things like that. We probably achieved about an extra 15 horsepower out of it.
Leaving behind hundreds of horses in desert racing, Todd Arthur has no regrets.
I gotta tell you, it's probably the most fun I've had.
While the upgrades in the modified class are sweet, some folks prefer their racing old school style.
I like stock ones.
The stock guys, we're a tougher breed.
For Stock Points leader Jimmy Weitzel, this class isn't about being a tough guy.
There's not on how much money you got, it's all about skill.
In a sport that welcomes newcomers, Jimmy's wife Laura wanted in.
Came out last time he raced and won and watched him and just told him I wanted to race too, and he went out and got me a Rhino, and here I am.
That didn't mean she'd take it easy on her hubby.
If I get a shot to bump him, definitely I'll bump him.
Jimmy had no need to worry as he blew away the field, while Laura ended up in last place.
Thought I'd do a little bit better, but I'll get the hang of it. Hopefully I'll get better and get right up there with my husband.
It doesn't matter where she finishes. To Jimmy, she'll always be his champion.
Oh, I'm very proud of her to come out here and to take initiative to want to race with the guys. So I'm very proud of her. She did really good.
Now, who says girls can't race? So she came in last. At least she's trying. Stay tuned to Off-Road Action, because there's more coming up. Who knows? Baja's future champion may grow out of the cornfields of central Illinois. Stay tuned for hardcore endurance racing. We're back on Off-Road Action. From April to September, beauty meets speed at the Wheel Jamborees all across the Midwest and South. Everything from bikinis to big bad monster trucks.
With its non-stop racing action, the Wheel Jamboree has more sizzle than Ohio's staple cuisine.
If you come to a jamboree and you sit in those stands, the day will go so fast. There's so many activities out there.
I like the little tough trucks out there. They're a lot of fun to watch. They crash, and the monster trucks are fun, so the whole show is a lot of fun.
I don't watch racing.
With a top dollar show and shine and vendors up the yin-yang, the Jamborees have something for everyone.
There's some nice stuff out here, you know. It's good for little kids, everybody.
Of course, what would a Wheel Jamboree be without a bikini contest? But the real action was found at the mud drags.
We're the fast guys. We go out and we don't hold anything back.
Pulling down almost 4.5 Gs, these machines hammer down the 200-foot track in under 3 seconds.
It's a rut. You launch it, it's like shooting a gun.
When you step on a pedal, you're just along for the ride. It slams you in the seat, and you just see the scenery go poof, and it's over.
Like a modern-day Buck Rogers, they hurtle across the mud with close to 3,000 horses beneath them.
You nail it, and it's just a rush. You know, the sound, the G-forces, and everything just kind of builds up.
Comes on strong, hits hard.
And sometimes it hits really hard.
This right here's a lot of action. It's very extreme.
Problem is, it either goes really right or really wrong. There is like no in the middle.
For 18 years, Chuck Cordy has gone wheels first into danger and has blown right through it.
The sound of a blown alcohol motor is probably the main reason why I do this. I really like the sport, and I like the sound of horsepower. The little tin can muffler cars haven't really made it in my book yet.
With 3 championships, his mud missile machine doesn't run a tin can motor.
It's an aluminum block, big block Chevy, 540 cubic inch, about the biggest roots type blower you can buy on it, with about the biggest injection you can get. We just force as much air and fuel in it as we can.
The mud missile is fast, but don't look for it on the asphalt.
You can get away with things that our drag racing buddies can't because we only run for a couple seconds. If we would run my engine with my tune-up in a quarter mile, it'd just be a melted blob at the end of the track. We put 70 pounds of boost in this motor. Drag racing guys usually put about 40. It's making about all the power you're going to make out of an automotive type engine.
Even though Chuck nailed the fastest reaction time at Lima, he was DQ'd for running it out of bounds. A rough showing, though, isn't enough to dampen his love of the mud.
We really like the sport, like the people. Everybody helps everybody out. I've just had such a good time doing it. I'm not looking to quit anytime soon.
More ahead here on Off-Road Action, so don't go away. We're back on Off-Road Action. Now you may think that only $1 million trophy trucks can race at speed for extended periods of time. Well, we're about to prove you wrong as we head to Casey, Illinois for their Endurance Series.
30 years ago, the cornfields around South Central Illinois cried out to the local four-wheelers, "Go big or go home." The Mid-America Off-Road Club answered the call, giving short track racers a place to strap in and get it on.
It's really good. It's really extreme short course racing out here. It's really hardcore and real fast paced. You got 3 10-lap heats of door-to-door action.
To compete, these racers bring more than a set of wheels to the racetrack.
You need nerves of steel for this kind of racing.
It can get pretty gnarly.
You get a little fender rubbing once in a while in short course racing. Nothing intentional. 2 guys fighting for positions. There's a little bumping and grinding.
You got to move them out of the way somehow. You can't just say, "Hey, move."
Out here, there are no semis in the pits or big dollar contracts.
You're not going to get rich out here doing this. You can just make some gas money to go home on.
Still, these men give all that they've got.
They say drive until you're scared and then push it just a little bit farther.
We come here to run and run hard, and we run hard, all the time.
5 classes of buggies and trucks come out to the season finale.
Welcome to Lincoln Trails Motorsports, Casey, Illinois.
Among the weekend warriors and series old-timers, a kid has emerged in the truck class and dubbed the One. Just 22 years old, rookie Justin Bremer proved to be a natural by taking 2 overalls and 4 podiums in 6 events.
I just wanted to come out and watch this year. We hadn't planned on doing as good as we're doing. I surprised a lot of people. Them first few races, they say, "Are you sure you've never raced before?"
His all-out racing style has been compared to Corps champ Carl Renesetter.
It's a driver's class. I mean, you got to run your truck, you got to be smart.
And his all-business race face intimidates the competition.
My girlfriend doesn't like it because she say I get in my zone and I don't pay much attention to her, but I try to just focus on the race. At the end of the day, I'll give her the attention she needs. When them races are going on, I mean, that's all you're focused on.
On this day, his focus was on clinching the Class 7 title.
I'd love to win the points race. I mean, that means a lot to me. Today I have to finish. If I don't finish, I'm not going to get it.
Ernest Hemingway wrote, "By guts, I mean grace under pressure." For Justin Bremer, this was gut check time. Battling for third place in race 1, Dirk Carlin didn't go easy on the rookie.
Yeah, I did. I hit him a little harder than I wanted to, but yeah, I gave him a good little love tap.
Unfazed, the kid kept the veteran behind him all the way to the checkers.
I got a lot of fans I owe it to because they make me push it a little bit harder than I want to sometimes.
With a third place in race 2, Justin closed in on the title.
We got one heat left. All I have to do is finish, and I take the championship for the year as a rookie.
A sure thing came apart on lap 3.
I gave it a little goose coming around this corner over here, and I heard it start slipping. Completely lost everything.
When Justin's main points rival, Tim Shearer, finished in second, the official scorers had to crunch some numbers.
I'm sweating right now. It's a little cool out, the breeze is blowing, but I'm still sweating. I wanted this bad. I wanted this real bad. Not sure who won just yet. I'm going to go find out here. Hopefully it's good news. I don't know what to expect.
Are you sure you really want to hear this?
I got to hear it. I want to know.
Because it was a really close race, and it comes down to just a few points for second and third. You won.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I'm talking about.
He's fast, he's smooth. You know, he's doing all the right things. I think he's going to be a good driver and one to look for in the future.
I am the champion.
Justin's going to be a star. He's going to be one of the good ones.
When you got guys that have been racing for 10, 12, 15 years saying you're good, you're going to be good. I mean, that means a lot when you hear that from veterans.
I like his number 2, 747 coming out of the sky. If you're ever in Casey, Illinois, be sure to check out the Mid-America Off-Road Club's Endurance Series. Well worth it. Well, that's it for off-road action this week. Remember, 2 wheels are 4. If it's got a throttle, we're on it. I'm Meredith Weiss, keeping it off-road.